Welcome to this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast. I'm Dan, and you can find me at RFS Dan.
And I'm Jess, and you can find me everywhere at Snow Dogs Vlogs.
Nice.
I don't know why that makes me laugh every time. Need an intro.
We do.
You're like, I'm the intro.
So last week we talked about Billy Ray Cyrus and the Old Town Road song that he made, and I just want to read a little bit of feedback because a lot of people did comment on our Facebook page about this topic.
Oh, about whether or not it was a country song?
Yes. So Brian Roll says, so my take on Old Town Road is that if you just read the lyrics, like Jess mentioned, it is very country. If you just listen to the beat without the lyrics, it's closer to rap than any other genre. The song is just, as a whole, just has me confused. Sort of Kid Rockish, I guess. Ooh, Kid Rock. That reminded me of you since, you know, he is the mayor of your state.
Hey, I like Kid Rock. I kind of have to, though, because I'm from Michigan.
Right. But what Brian said seemed to be what most people said. If you listen to the lyrics, it's more country. But if you listen to the beat, it's more rapish.
Yeah. I still would class it as pop country.
I do, too. I think that's a good way to, like, put a bow on what that package is.
Yeah.
Well, good. Thank you for leaving comments. You guys can always go to our Facebook page and leave comments, and we'll try to read more of these as we learn how to podcast better.
As we learn how to podcast better. This is only, what, episode 13 or something? 14?
It feels good. I feel so much more relaxed than when we first started.
Yeah, I do, too. I feel like we kind of know what we're doing now, even though we don't. I feel like we do.
Yes. We've avoided disaster. We've switched companies. We've gone through it all. So far, so good with the Podbean. Like, it's been working well.
Yeah, I really like it. I'm slowly getting caught up on the YouTube videos, putting them up on the CC Mouse YouTube page. I think we've got almost 600 subscribers on the CC Mouse Podcast YouTube page, so that's kind of cool.
Yes, I saw the thumbnail that you posted for the latest episode with Momo in that, like, Polar Express suit, or I don't know what Momo was wearing, but I was super creepy. You guys have to check that out.
He was a train conductor.
Yes. Oh, Momo, we love you.
Yeah, that was a fun one. But if you notice the actual episode thumbnail, because they're just the audio episodes, I didn't use that photo because I didn't think people would want to stare at that for an hour.
Oh, yeah, you changed it? I guess, if the longevity of it, it's fine for a thumbnail, but you probably made the right decision.
Yeah, there's no way I could stare at a screen with that on. I mean, most people probably listen through YouTube, like through the YouTube Music app or whatever. They're probably not, like, staring at the screen listening, but...
Right.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, good call. So as I'm going through the comments of last week's episode on our Facebook page, hundreds of you, okay, one of you, Joel, really liked my Game of Thrones recap. So I will continue that on each week. There's only 6 weeks, so bear through it if you guys don't watch Game of Thrones, which if you don't, then I guess you live under a rock next to Jess, who also does not watch pretty much the second greatest show of all time next to The Sopranos.
I never watched The Sopranos either.
Such a good series. Gandolfini is the greatest actor. He's so good. Nobody
Not
does
my type of TV.
Nobody does resting bitch face better than him. Really though, just that look that he's got. Oh, it's so amazing. Okay, so here's my Game of Thrones minute. So in Game of Thrones, we have Daenerys and we have any other girl that's in there that's being swooned by all the men, or you at home. I know everybody has a big crush on, like, Sansa and Daenerys, but inside Game of Thrones, my favorite moment this week is how everybody just wants Brienne of Tarth. She's 6'3". She's now a knight. She's badass, and now everybody wants to be with her. Unexpected sleeper hit of the series. So go Brienne of Tarth, and that is my Game of Thrones moment. Yay! She's great. She played it's Gwendolyn Christie, and she played Captain Phasma in the Star Wars movies, which I really hope they use her in this new Star Wars movie, because she's been really, really wasted throughout the series. You know, that Chrome Stormtrooper?
Yeah, that would be definitely a good thing to have her be a little bit more part of the story.
I mean, they have to use her, right?
I would think so. I hope so. I don't know. We'll find out in, like, how many more months? A lot of them.
Yeah, chrome's expensive. It's not cheap to dip that suit in chrome.
Right.
So, by that logic...
They just used a plasti dip. They're like, oh, we'll just plasti dip this.
Yeah, I think there's like an over-the-counter spray that looks that color nowadays. So as we're just cleaning up house here, let's go to PewdiePie and PewdiePie news and check to see if PewdiePie is still leading the march to 100 million subscribers.
Last I checked was the other day,
right.
And I think he was losing again.
Oof. All right, so I just brought up the statistics right before we started the podcast. Any guesses on who's winning?
I I don't know. Like I said, last I heard, T-Series was ahead again. So
T-Series has 95,814,000, and it's just scrolling in the remainder numbers of subscribers. PewDiePie has 94,866,000 subscribers.
So they're almost a million ahead.
Yeah, and when I turned on this little like app thing here that shows their difference, it was about 30,000 subscribers ago. So T-Series is just starting to pull out into the lead. I think that is it for the big T-Series PewDiePie clash.
Who will prevail?
Oh, it's for sure. There's no way PewDiePie can catch up anymore. That's it. He pulled out all the straws. He made that really cool song. Mr. Beast went to the Super Bowl and held up a vote for PewDiePie sign on television. Yeah. I think it's done.
I think it's over. It's over.
It's over.
The era of YouTube when creators matter is officially over.
Yes.
Now it's all corporations and channels that can put lots and lots and lots of money behind their content.
Mid-roll ads.
Yeah, that's what it's turning into.
Well.
Oh well, I don't care. I'm still gonna keep making videos because it's fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That part will never change, but right. it was fun watching PewDiePie go.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Maybe he'll pull ahead at the end, but I doubt it. I doubt it.
So this Saturday, Blake is going to the prom. For those of you guys who don't know who Blake is my son. He's 17, almost 18. Oh, almost 18.
As soon as you said it, I thought the same thing in my head. I went, "Oh man, really?"
Man, he's older now, and that makes me older.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, age does that. It makes you older.
Yeah. So prom's this weekend for him, and his prom's in our town. Our prom, when I went to prom, was about an hour and a half away by bus, and we'll get to that in a minute. But his prom is at this really nice museum that we have on the boulevard, and he gets a lot of, man, his food. I was reading the menu for the food. It looked so good, but I'm a little envious that he has his prom in our town. I had to travel so far to get to my prom. So far that on the bus ride there, the boutonniere like died. It was like shriveled up, and I'm like, I'm not taking pictures with this like shriveled up piece of flour. It was pretty bad.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was bad.
Do you have pictures from your prom?
Do I have pictures from my prom? Absolutely have pictures from my prom, and I am absolutely going to dig them out, and I'm absolutely going to post those for you guys.
We should post them on the Podbean when we do the notes. I'll also post the photo from prom. Jamie and I actually went to prom together.
Did you go to junior and senior prom, or did you just go to your senior prom?
Just senior prom.
We had junior and senior prom, so I got to try this twice.
Yeah, I only went to prom once. I only went my senior year. I could have went 11th grade. I could have, but it just, I don't know, wasn't really my thing. I barely even wanted to go senior year, but, you know, it was senior. I'm glad I did. I am really glad I did, especially because, you know, Jamie and I are still together, and now we can say we went to prom together.
Right.
But it just wasn't. Me being in a dress is not my thing.
That's true. I don't see you being a dress person. Was the prom for you like it showed on TV, where it was like in your high school and you just went to the gymnasium and it was the prom?
So a lot of our dances, like our Winterfest dances and things like that were kind of like mini proms, those were in the gymnasium. Like we would have dances every couple weeks, but then we had like a Winterfest and a homecoming were the other two big dances. And those were usually in the gym, and they were all decorated with lights and everything. But our prom was actually held at what we call the Armory, which was kind of just a giant empty building.
In your town?
Kind of looked like a gym.
But in your town?
Oh, yeah. Literally, everything's in our town. It was like less than a mile from the high school.
See, that's the thing that I did not like about my prom. Like, it wasn't like, I wanted it to be like it was on television. You go to the high school, you go to the gymnasium, you go to the prom, the basketball courts are in there. Like, just prom, punch bowls.
I think part of the issue, like the reason that we didn't have a lot of dances in our gym was because they said that people's shoes will scuff the floors, will wreck the floors.
And that was the request from the janitor. It's like, Willie, I'll take this job, eh? But there'll be no dancing on my floors.
Right. I think that's why, because like our gym is more than big enough to have the prom in, but we had it at the Armory. And like our prom, my prom, there was no food there. They had like snack food there, but like we didn't do dinner there. You had to go do dinner beforehand and then go to prom. And we actually did our dinner, this is so silly, 15 miles south of town. So we drove 15 miles out of town to go to Rosa's Italian restaurant.
Right.
Drive 15 miles back into town to go to prom.
And that was on your own. That wasn't school provided, right?
No, that was on our own. But we had like, Jamie and I were in journalism class together. So our entire pretty much journalism class, because we were a very close-knit class, we all went to prom together. we all went out to dinner together beforehand, and it was like pretty much everybody from the journalism class, which was kind of cool.
Right. See, that's cool. And then you guys drove yourselves there, right?
Yeah, my mom wouldn't let me drive my truck because she said it just wasn't fitting, so she let me drive her van, which I don't know how that's more fitting than, well, I mean, my truck was pretty ugly, so we got to drive a big blue van to prom.
Right. That's so cool. Your prom and my prom was so much different. Okay, I need more prom questions for you. So when you got to the prom, that's when you took your prom picture, right?
Yes, yeah.
How much were tickets to your prom?
Oh gosh, I want to say they were like, I don't think they were that much. They were probably like $35 a person.
Right.
And like I said, they had snacks and drinks at the prom, but you didn't get dinner. So it was like $35 a person, and it included all that stuff. And it included the after prom parties. And your tickets covered it. And they brought in more food. They brought in like pizza and stuff at the after prom party.
At the same place as the prom?
Yep, same place.
That is so cool. Your prom is so much radder than my prom. Oh my gosh. Even on television, they didn't have an after prom party. Holy cow. So, okay, so let's go back to the beginning of my prom. So you buy tickets, you gotta get tickets the day of prom, and you have to because of this reason. There were $120 a ticket, and the sooner you got your ticket, the closer to the time it was to leave for prom that your picture was taken beforehand. So it was like you had to run there, then the buses left at 4 o'clock, but you can get a $3.50 photo time if you were the first person to buy your tickets. The last person to buy your tickets, and one of the years we got a good time, but I think our senior year, my girlfriend at the time, Alicia, got the tickets maybe like a week after, like, oh, by the way, tickets are on sale, and we had to show up like at noon. I had to be all in my rented tux, all ready to go. God. We went to the house, I picked her up because it was prom, she came down the steps, and I gave her the flower thing around her wrist, and then I got like a shirt flower. And then we get over to the, everybody takes pictures, and we get over to the high school, and they take our photos because there's a photographer there, and then now it's 3-hour wait.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right? The flowers are sad. I'm sad. I'm hungry. This isn't prom. All the family's kind of standing around awkwardly. So finally, we fast forward to getting on the bus. We're getting on this big, huge charter bus, and they're checking everything. They're smelling the inside of hairspray bottles to make sure there's no alcohol in it. They're checking our names off on a list. I have to have ID. We get on the bus. We drive all the way down to the beach. It's an hour and a half to the beach. It's hot on the bus. Everybody's hair is flat. Everybody's boutonnieres and things are melted. We get there. I get off the bus. There's another check-in round, and we go inside this like airplane museum, right? So we're in this airplane museum. It's a very, very nice museum. I'm 17 years old. I'm just like, okay, this is cool. There's lots of soda, lots of like punch and stuff, and they serve us like a full course meal as if it was like a wedding. They bring it out to you and stuff like that. So we got a full meal, and there was dancing and stuff like that. And then you walk over to this place, and one side of it is 100% glass, and I can see the ocean. We're on the beach. But guess what?
Right.
You may not pass in this glass. Oh, no. You can look out there. Don't fog up the windows, but you cannot go right outside of these big swinging doors that could swing open and go on the beach at all. So I watched the beach from the inside of the glass of the prom. And then we just danced and hung out, and then you get back on the bus, and it's another hour and a half home, and it's like 1 a.m. after that. And then I couldn't even drive anybody to the prom. You gotta show up to the parking lot of the school.
That's so crazy.
Doesn't it seem so much more boring and formulaic than what your prom was?
Yeah, because we drove there, we parked, we could leave whenever we wanted.
Cool. You could not even go outside.
Yeah, we could pretty much do whatever we wanted.
Wow.
But we live in a tiny little town. I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah, your prom is the prom that I saw on television, minus this after party thing that I just heard about right now that I think is probably the raddest thing ever. And
well, I mean, you got to think about it. Up here, there's not a lot to do. And I mean, a lot of people from our school drank, even though they weren't old enough to. It was a big problem. It still is a big problem with our school because there's not a lot to do. So people just go out in the woods and they have big bonfires in the woods and they drink. That's what they do. And I think that the after parties that they usually do up here are just to help combat that, just to give people something else to do.
See, that's still so cool. But you can't stop everybody. There was kids on the bus on the way back home talking about getting in the car and then driving back down to that same beach and just hanging out on the beach for the rest of the night and just enjoying prom. And I'm like, yeah, and that could happen anyway if you guys were just allowed to drive down there. Why did it have to be so far away? Why couldn't it have just been up the street at our school? Why did I have to go into drive time traffic on a Saturday for the prom?
And that's probably why tickets were so expensive. How much are tickets for Blake?
Like $35, and you get the 4-course meal. And Monster Donuts just opened up, which is kind of like one of those like novelty donut shops, where they put all the fun flavors and cereals
Like
on
the
top of the
Voodoo
donuts.
Donuts?
Yeah, like a Voodoo Donuts. This one's called Monster Donuts. They're catering it, and yeah, he gets like all these Italian names, like all the Atonis and the ZDDs and the salad, unlimited salad and breadsticks. That, like, I don't know, but it looked really good for like $30.
What was the theme of your prom?
What was the theme of my prom? We didn't have a theme. We had colors, and the colors were kind of like, I want to say like tealish. I can't. You'll be able to see the colors on the accents in the photo that I'll send you guys for my prom. But I want to say it was just kind of tealish and gold, or tealish and black or something. Like, they had a color, but they didn't have a theme. I only had a theme at like my 8th grade graduation had an Aladdin theme. It was called A Whole New World.
Right.
But high school did not have, no, our prom did not have a theme that I can remember. What about yours?
Our prom was in 1998, and the theme of our prom was the Titanic.
Oh my gosh. Tell me you had the Heart of the Ocean on.
I don't even remember. I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember they tried to decorate the inside of the place to kind of look like the ballroom from the Titanic.
In which part of the movie? In the beginning when it's pretty, or like towards the end when it's in disarray?
In the beginning. But that was the theme of the prom, was the Titanic.
Oh my gosh. Did they have any like Titanic themed food? And of course, did you dance to the Celine Dion song?
Oh yeah, you have to, because that's the theme of the prom.
Oh Jamie, oh Jess, like, oh, I can see it now.
That Jamie and I actually went and saw that movie in the theater, and while we were sitting in the theater watching this movie, and everybody's seen the Titanic, and there's a part of the movie where Leonardo DiCaprio is, hanging off the thing, freezing to death in the water, and she lets him go, and he floats under the water, and it's all like everybody in the movie theater is half crying because it's a very emotional part of the movie. And we're in this theater, and Jamie leans over to me and whispers in my ear, "Leonardo DiCaprio's dead." And I laughed so hard in the theater while everybody's like crying. I couldn't help myself. Yeah, so
I love it.
That was probably one of my favorite movie moments with him ever, was when he leaned over and said that, and I couldn't help myself. I laughed so hard.
I like that movie. I thought it was really good. I just remember him sinking down and her going like, "Oops," and I'm like, dang, she's the original hit it and quit it. And then off he went. And then she did it deliberately, because 2 scenes later, when she was 99 years old, she did the same thing with that Heart of the Ocean. She's like, "Oops," and just let it go in the water. I'm like, dang, you told me that means you oopsed Leonardo DiCaprio deliberately to the bottom of the ocean.
I think so.
Was it Dead Man Tells No Tales? Dang, this movie just got cryptic. So prom's coming up for Blake, and then that just kind of reminded me of my prom, which doesn't seem like it's that long ago. It was probably 97, 98, when it was prom time, but it seems like yesterday.
Yeah, it was 21 years ago for, golly, really?
Yeah, quick.
21 years ago.
Huh? And the story I told, like, I did not have a bad time. You just had no freedom. There was no, like, you're not making out, or, like, you're not sneaking off, or you're not doing anything at all. It was just, like, they had it on lockdown. There was people standing at the doors. Just even open the door so I can smell the ocean. I mean, it was right there. It was right there.
What's the point of letting us be by the water when we can't be by the water?
Right?
It was fun. We had a good prom. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I went after not wanting to go. I'm really glad we went.
Yeah,
because 20 years later I can be like, Jamie and I went to prom together.
So 20 years later you can be like, we have a podcast topic.
Right?
One last thing while we're talking about prom and stuff like that. You posted something the other day, and I think it was a newspaper clipping of you and Jamie and your wedding, like, obituary? What do you call those? A wedding obituary?
They're wedding announcements. They used to do them in the newspaper up here. Anytime somebody would get married on a Saturday in the newspaper, they would do wedding announcements.
It was like a full page ad.
Yeah, you could do an engagement announcement, and I don't know where my copy of our engagement announcement is. We did that as well. But there was an engagement announcement, and then there's the wedding announcement. So they would do the wedding announcements after.
Right.
After we got married. And it was just something that they would put in the paper. And it was, again, we live in a tiny little town and everybody knows everybody. So it was just a thing where you would announce that you got married in the paper so everybody would know, I guess. I don't know.
It wasn't just that you were announced in the paper, and this is what caught my eye, because stuff like this doesn't really happen too much out here anymore. You had a whole like biopic on there. There was a whole A&E documentary written about you in that article. Yeah. It was an article.
Yeah, I think it said I don't remember if it said where we were working, but it was like listed who our parents were, where we were residing after we got married.
Yes, like royalty, like the lineage, or it was like the original ancestry on there.
Yeah. Yep.
So I just thought, since we're gonna post old photos and stuff like that, you might want to throw up that photo that you put on the Podbean of your guys' wedding announcement, because I thought it was like cute. Like we don't see that here, and if that would cost like $200 to happen today.
Holy cow. Yeah, no, I think I don't think you paid for wedding announcements back when they did them. They don't do them anymore. I'm sure you could probably pay for it, but they don't do them anymore. It was always fun though. Like Saturday you'd get the paper and you'd open up the paper and you could see who got married.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess that's just more fun than seeing who died. But you could see who got married, who got engaged, and you'd be like, oh, I went to school with them, or oh, congratulations, I've known them for forever.
Damn, you were giving them content.
Yeah, exactly.
Content before YouTube.
Yeah, now they just use everything from the Associated Press in our local paper, and they don't care about any local news. They just...
Yeah, our news is a copy and paste. Like, what do they do for research? Yeah. Copy and paste.
They keep telling me they're going to do a big news article on our YouTube channel, but the previous editor of the newspaper and I didn't get along real well.
No. Did you get any Applebee's gift cards out of them?
No. So every time one of my friends that works at the news would want to do the article, he would shut it down. He was just, nope, we're not doing it. Dang. But now there's a new editor, so... They keep saying, oh, we want to do a big story. And I'm like, whenever you want, we can.
So the lines are open again?
Yeah. On Saturday, they do a lifestyle section of the paper, and that's like a full page. We've been in it a couple of times. We were in it once for carving pumpkins. We were in it once for, was it Shiloh on the lottery ticket? I don't remember. But we were in it a couple times. So they've been telling me, they're like, yeah, we could do this again. I'm like, okay, sure.
So speaking of YouTube is 14 years old yesterday. Did you know?
Oh my God.
Did you know this?
No, I guess, but no. I've been on it since 2006, so I should have known.
Wow. Yeah, you're one of the early adopters. April 23, 2005.
Wasn't it like one of the founders in the elephant?
Yes. I don't know if he was the founder or not.
Yeah, he was one of the founders.
Was he one of the founders? Okay, yeah, but it was like it was actually an 18-second video.
And I watched YouTube before 2006, but I didn't start my first channel until May of 2006.
Okay, yeah, me too. I watched YouTube for a while before I actually had a reason to log in and have a channel and stuff like that. Any guesses? Let's guess. How many guesses do you think the first YouTube video ever has? Do you think it's going to have a lot of views, or do you think it's just forgotten?
How many views it has? I know it's not. I know for the longest time it was the #1 video because everybody wanted to see it, but I don't even think it's close to that. It probably, I have no idea. 54 million views.
Does it? Or that's your guess?
That's my guess.
Okay.
You told me to guess.
Okay. Let's see if I can find the original, because it looks like 100 people have uploaded the same video back up to YouTube.
Right.
All right, so here we are in front of the elephant.
All right, so I clicked on the original video, and it has 67,165,000 and change. So
wow, I was close.
Yeah, way to go. Way to go.
I mean, really, that was a pretty close guess.
Here's my favorite thing about the internet. It has 70,000 thumbs down. How do you that's like thumbing down like a religion, like boo, like wait, no, like this guy put the first of the thing on here. There is no video before his video, and 70,000 people said no.
Right.
Yeah, well, 1.9 million people did like it though.
That's so funny. Well, happy birthday to YouTube.
Yeah, happy birthday, YouTube. Wow. 67 million, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
I'll never do 67 million of anything. On your videos, what's the highest count on your videos? I know you know right off the top of your head.
13 million on the watermelon treat video.
Whoa, that one's not even that old.
Nope, that's the highest video of all the videos we've done.
Wow.
Is the watermelon treat video.
So I can see that one getting a lot of views. Do you have any other high view videos that are just regular videos? Like, oh, here's just like today's vlog or whatever. And you're like, wow, that thing rocketed.
I don't know on the vlog channel really if any of the videos are even over 1 million. It's crazy as it is. I don't really check the vlog channel like I do the dogs channel. I don't know why, but I don't know if I have any on the vlog channel that are over 1 million. I know that dogs channel, the watermelon treat video is the highest, and then I have like 2 ice cream videos, which is so weird, that are like, I think one's almost at 4 million and one's like just over 3 million, and then my fidget spinner I think the
Oh
fidget
yeah,
spinner
I
dog
remember
treat is
that
up there.
one. Yeah, that was a good one. That
Yeah.
one was rocketing for a while.
Yeah, that one was up there, and then I think a couple of the bath videos or the pool videos that we've done are kind of up there in like over 1 million videos, over 1 million views videos. I don't know how many videos total I have on the dog's channel that are over 1 million views, but it always like, this sounds really bad, but it always kind of like makes me sad because I'll go and I'll look and I'll be like, all these videos are like so many millions of views and we still haven't hit 1 million subscribers.
I know, isn't that the ratio is interesting? It's so crazy though. So many living things have looked at your stuff.
Yeah, like when I look at it like that, it's pretty cool, but at the same time, I'm always like, like it'd be kind of neat to be over 1 million subscribers, but
It'll happen.
oh yeah, I'm sure one day it'll happen as long as we keep uploading.
You just gotta hurry because pretty soon 1 million doesn't mean anything anymore.
1 million doesn't mean anything now.
I know, right?
I'm so behind on like, remember when it was like 100,000 subscribers meant a lot? Now it's like 100,000 subscribers is nothing. It's like, well, I've got, the dogs have what, 730,000? And you think that's a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just, it is, that sounds really bad to say it like that. It is, and it's really cool. But at the same time, it's just kind of like...
No, what we mean is inflation. Like, oh my gosh, this number used to be the pinnacle, and now this number is not the pinnacle anymore. It's a higher number.
Right.
Not like, oh my gosh, we don't care about these people. Just like what number is impressive to a YouTube community is grown by a couple commas.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what am I looking at here? The vlog channel. So I don't have a video at all on the vlog channel that's over 1 million. The popular video on the vlog channel has 800,000 views, and it's Shelby's birthday pool party video from last year. That's crazy. I didn't know that. So my most popular video on the vlog channel was uploaded last year. Actually, my 4 most popular videos on the vlog channel were all uploaded last year.
Get out now before you start correlating that with this year's videos.
This year's been pretty pathetic, but it is what it is. I'm still doing it because it's fun.
So you went to Canada.
We did. We went to Canada.
How was that?
I learned that, no offense to anybody from Canada, don't let this offend you if you're from Canada, but Canadians don't know how to drive.
Yeah.
And I know that's a blanket statement, and I'm sure there's a lot of Canadians that do know how to drive, but I drove on the expressway in Canada for a long time, 3 hours once we crossed the border. And you know how when you're driving on the highway and slower traffic is supposed to move over to the right?
Yeah.
They just don't. Like, they drive in the left lane slower than people in the other lanes, and it didn't make sense to me, and I kept thinking, maybe it is just how they drive up there. Maybe they don't get over in the right lanes like we do in the States. You're supposed to get over in the right lane, and the fast lane is supposed to be all the way in the left. Not necessarily that you're speeding, but if you're driving slower than the speed limit, you shouldn't be in that lane. That is not how it worked in Canada. I had people driving, like, even when I was driving in the middle lane, I was passing people in the left lane. I had people in the right lane passing me, and I'm going, this is so confusing to me. Like, I kept telling Jamie, I'm like, watch these people drive. This doesn't make sense to me. And then at one point in time, there was a girl in a white car, and Jamie had fallen asleep. And he woke up, and she was right next to us. And I'm like, watch this girl. I've passed her 6 times. And he goes, what? She would fly past me. And I'm talking pedal to the metal, fly past me. 2-3 minutes later, she'd be next to me again, and I'd pass right on by. I'm like, she doesn't maintain a normal speed at all. Like, do you not know how to use cruise control? It was the weirdest thing. The first thing I noticed was people drive very differently in Canada.
Sorry. Every time you pass her, sorry.
Yeah, it was so weird. Like, it wasn't like a bad thing. It wasn't like I couldn't get around people, but it was like I couldn't be in a lane and maintain a speed. Nobody else was maintaining a speed.
So when you were there, did you gripe to any Canadians to get answers? Like, did you demand answers for this?
No, it wasn't really something I talked to anybody about while I was there. But because at first I thought maybe it was just because we had first crossed the border and there were like non-Ontario plates. So I was wondering, like, people just that weren't from Ontario were holding up the traffic. I didn't know. But then on the way out, when we were leaving Toronto, even when we were going to Niagara, I'm like, no, this just seems to be the way they drive here, which again, it's fine. I'm just not used to it. I'm used to you get over, you pass on this side, and you let people around. And maybe they are supposed to do it up there, but maybe it's not enforced. I know, like in Michigan, it's the law. Mm-hmm. You have to get over, and they will give you a ticket if you don't. So I don't know. That was the first interesting thing.
right across the border.
Yeah, it was interesting.
What's Canada smell like? Nothing? Just like normal?
Well, where we drove in through, it was a lot of farmland, so it smelled like cows.
Oh, that's bad news.
But I mean, no, just smelled like air. It was clean. That was one thing I did notice. It was when we got closer to Toronto. Now we actually stayed in Mississauga, which is right outside of Toronto. We didn't end up going into downtown Toronto like I wanted to because we spent the day in Niagara and we were just beat. And then the next day we decided to just come home. So I did miss out on going to downtown Toronto, which just means we're going to have to go back.
Right.
I also learned that there is no right way to say Toronto.
Oh, really?
I heard Canadians say it multiple different ways. Like, I didn't hear a lot of people pronounce it Toronto, but I heard a lot of people pronounce it kind of like how I say it, just Toronto. And then there was Churano. I heard a couple people call it Churano, like a churro. And I'm like, what the heck is a Churano?
Yeah, is it like a local snack?
Yeah, so I did notice, like, because I was listening to pronunciation, and I don't even know if I'm saying Mississauga correctly, but I did notice a lot of different pronunciations for the way people said Toronto, which I thought was interesting. It was just one of those things that was like, I wonder what the technical term, the technical way to say it. Like, if you were born and raised in Toronto, how do you pronounce it?
Well, so the people you interacted with, were they more American Canadian or French Canadian?
Both.
Yeah,
we met a lot of both, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I like French Canadians because they had that almost stereotypical accent a little bit, like ha, and you're like, oh, this is like really cool.
Yeah, it was definitely both. We had people drive down from further north to come see us, so like I heard a lot of different accents, and I did realize, and it's probably because I already have more of that dialect because I live in northern Michigan, but I noticed a lot when people were talking and you could tell they sounded more Canadian, that it was really easy for me to just pick up on that accent so quickly.
Interesting.
So I was trying not to mimic it because I have a habit of doing that. You know, you spend so much time somewhere and you talk to so many people, and then you're like, you kind of start to talk like them.
Oh,
that
yeah.
only takes me a couple of days before like my brain is already like, you need to fit in, talk like these people.
Wow, yes. Dang, that's cool. So you get to the convention. You talked last time about how big it was going to be. Did it hold up to your expectations?
It was by far the biggest expo we've ever been to. The size of the Novi Pet Expo doubled. It was huge. There was so many people, so many companies, so many vendors. I loved that they had a whole entire area that was specifically for breed groups. So like the Siberian Husky Club of Ontario was there. They had the Leonenberger Dog Club was there. There was an Aussie Dog Club there for the Australian Shepherds. But like the pure breed dogs were represented. Like their groups came and represented them, and you could actually go to these booths and talk to them, and they brought dogs with them so you could learn more about the breed. I absolutely loved that. Like, I loved the fact that there was the educational part of that, and they had like dog shows going on. They had a cat show there, and they had a bunch of breed cats, so you could actually like experience all of these different things, and not just for fun and entertainment, but you could also learn a lot about different breeds of dogs and cats, and that I really liked.
Oh, that's cool. It sounds like it was really big. How was the turnout for the booth?
Insane. It was insane. It was nonstop. The Friday, I thought Friday was going to be a little bit slower because it was Good Friday, and I just, it was Friday during the day. People are going to be at work.
Right.
Friday was by far the busiest day we had. I mean, we were supposed to be there at 11 to 3. We got there at like 10 with the intention of walking around and then going to our booth, and that really didn't happen. We pretty much made it to our booth and people were already there waiting for us. Like, so we hung out there we were there till almost 4:00 the first day. Because, every time we try to leave, other people would show up, and then we would feel bad because we're like, well, we don't want to leave if people are still trying to show up. And if they came only for the one day, we don't want to miss people.
Right.
But it was crazy nonstop. It was just people and people and people and people. And the second day was the same way. It was just crazy busy. Sunday, which was Easter Sunday, was kind of nice. I mean, each day was nice, but Sunday was kind of nice because it was a little slower, and I felt like I had more of an opportunity to talk to people. Like, I just really had that better opportunity to, instead of feeling like I was just going from person to person, like there were people I was actually able to sit down and talk to. There was a guy there who brought his dog on Saturday, and then he brought his more skittish dog on Sunday, and I actually convinced him to start an Instagram. If you guys want to check him out, it's Huskies in the Mountains on Instagram and YouTube. I convinced him to start both of them, so go check him out. His dogs are amazing. He lives up there. You know, he offered if Jamie and I would come back up there, you know, he could take us and show us some stuff, but his dogs were super cool. So like I felt like I got to sit down and talk with him. Like I learned about his dog Summit that he brought, and you know, like I said, the dog was a little bit more skittish, and he told me about how he only had her a couple weeks. She ran away, and the only reason they found her was because she broke her leg, and he had to spend all this money to fix her broken leg. So then we were talking about how, you know, you just do what you got to do, even when you don't have the money. When it comes to your pets, you're going to find a way. And it was just nice to be able to really talk to people a little bit more on Sunday.
It's cool. I'm looking at his Instagram here, and it's join Summit, Moose, and Sky on their adventures. And there's only 9 pictures posted, but the one picture in the bottom left corner caught my eye because I see Memphis sitting there posing like a professional, and then I see which dog's the husky? Is that Summit?
That would have been Summit. Is that the brown, like the brownish colored husky?
Yeah, it just kind of sitting there. Memphis's ears are up, and the other dog's ears are back, kind of like, I'm with a celebrity. It's so cute.
Yeah, so Summit was an awesome dog. Awesome. Very, like, it was very good that he brought her, and that's what he was telling me, was like, he doesn't normally bring her out to these things because a lot of people, a lot of dogs, she's just a little bit, you know, and a little bit kind of, she doesn't react the same, like doesn't necessarily want to be petted. So she came and she sat, and he kind of sat close to me the whole time. So she was behind me at one point in time, and I just kept talking to her, and I kept telling him, like, you know, she's doing really good for not being used to this. And people were able to come up and pet her, which I thought was really good for her. So it was nice. We sat there. Jamie talked to him for a while. I talked to him for a while. His name's Matt. Really nice guy. And yeah, I kept telling him, I'm like, you need to start an Instagram and tell these stories about your dogs. And he's like, I've been planning on doing it. And I'm like, stop planning, just do it.
Yeah, do it right now before you leave this square booth right here. Just do it. And that brings me.
That day, he did go home that day and started it that night. So
yeah, he's jamming. He's got 49 subscribers. Who will be 50? Yeah. Will it be you? So when you're there, and this is what I always think about when I see pictures that you send me, you know, like there was one where, I don't know if it was Shelby or Memphis sitting on top of Jamie's lap, but it was madness there. Oh, and I see dogs with other dogs, and do they fight? Like, are you worried about that? Is it always, are your ears always up? Is it always about trying to watch body language to figure out whose dog should not be next to your dog? Are you bouncing dogs out of there?
So I'm very cautious when my dogs interact with other dogs, mainly because, I mean, Memphis loves everybody and pretty much will interact with anybody.
Right.
Shelby has her moments. Shelby has her moments where another dog will walk up and I'm watching Shelby, and it's like, if you can tell she's gonna, you know, not necessarily react badly, but she might growl at another dog. Like I'm on high alert for it all the time. Mm-hmm. But the nice thing about these expos is most people aren't going to bring a bratty dog to an expo. And even if they do, they aren't going to let their dog interact with other dogs because they know better. And I know, you know, a lot of people are like, that's not true. People don't care. They really do. We've been doing a lot of these, and I have found that at the expos, most people actually are pretty good about knowing if their dogs are good with other dogs, whether or not they should bring them to these things. So I am on high alert, but at the same time, you know, I do let my dogs interact with the other dogs. You can't come into the expo unless your dogs have all their shots and all that stuff. So I'm not really worried about them getting sick from another dog or anything like that. Shelby had a lot of fun playing with the other huskies, and she's so funny. Like, if you watch the vlogs on Snow Dogs Vlogs and then I'm going to upload one on Gone to the Snow Dogs as well, Shelby literally only wants to interact with other huskies. Like, other breeds of dogs walk by and she's like, don't really care. But a husky will walk by and she's like, hey, that's my people. I'm going to play with you now.
Right. Dang, I didn't think she was like that.
She's stuck up.
She's stuck up. That was my next question. Is there any rhyme or reason? You know, you said that like maybe Shelby's ears perk up and she was gonna like growl at somebody. There's no rhyme or reason, right? Just like, I just don't like you.
Sometimes it makes me wonder if she just sees or smells something in like a person or another dog that she just doesn't like, or she's unsure with. Like, another good example of that would be the hotel we stayed at. There was one girl that when we would come off the elevator, if that girl was there, Shelby was barking at her. The don't come close to me bark.
Wow. And see, that's so like, crazy.
Memphis could have cared less. Memphis thought this girl was the greatest thing ever, and every time we'd go down to the lobby, she would interfere, but Shelby wanted nothing to do with her.
Wow, so it's some sort of sensory thing.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's like the way people move at her. Like at conventions, I don't see it a lot, but outside of the conventions, like when we're walking, sometimes it's like the way people stand or the way people try to approach her. She's just like, nope, I'm not having it. I don't want anything to do with you. Where Memphis could care less. And it's not like Shelby would bite somebody, but she will bark at somebody if she doesn't want them close to her.
Right. Wow, that's so interesting. Another thing that I looked at on some of your photos, and I think maybe I saw it on Crystal, the Animal Lovers page, was she hopped on a train. I watched her journey and took a train for hours to go see you guys. I think just to see you.
Yeah, 4 hours.
Wow. Each way.
So they rode on a train for 4 hours. They lived just down in Windsor, but the train was easier for them to do. So they rode on the train for 4 hours and came up to see us. It was really, really cool. Like I've known Crystal the Animal Lover, for forever. And
Yes.
I was so excited when she told me that they were going to be able to that they were coming and they were going to make the trip. And that was one of the highlights of the trip. Definitely was actually being able to meet her in person and meet her family. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, she's one of the ones that comments first. She's always there right in the beginning when you post anything. I always see the likes by her. So there was one photo I think maybe I had seen by her where you had a backdrop. You were sitting there posing with the dogs, and there was this like snow doggy bridge looking backdrop.
Yeah.
Did you bring that? Do you set that up for photos?
The expo actually did that for us. So I didn't know they were giving us a double booth space. Normally we get a 10 by 10 booth. So the only thing I usually bring is like I have the drop for over a table, and then I have a little sign that I'm actually working on remaking. I want to get like a little stand-up sign as well that has like all of our social media sites and some pictures of the dogs. Because people are always looking for that, and I feel like I don't have a big enough sign for that for people who don't know who we are. They gave us a double booth space. They put up the backdrop, they brought in all those logs, and it worked out perfect. Like, it was meant to be a photo backdrop, but it kind of ended up being like the hangout. Like, we were sitting on the logs with people and taking pictures, but at the same time, when everybody was done taking pictures, we were all sitting on the ground together there and just talking, and it worked out really, really well. I was really happy with how they set everything up for us. Like, I even messaged Grant afterwards, the guy that invited us to it, and I told him, I'm like, this has been an amazing trip. I appreciate everything you guys have done for me. Like, I didn't expect all of the things that they did for us, and they were really awesome to us.
Oh, good. Yeah, the backdrop looked really well. I was like, well, that's not the bridge in Alpena, but that looks like within your guys' like scope. So I was like, did you bring that or not? But that was cool. That was cool of them to like have the heads up to do that for you.
Yeah, it was really neat. It's definitely something I think I'm gonna get one printed on my own to have like as a backdrop for when we go to other events like that, because it was really neat to have.
That's a good idea. What about you though? Because you were like in that photo that I had seen, you were like down on your knees with the dogs and stuff like that. Is it just an up and down day, or do you just like park it?
No, it's an up and down day all day. Like, it's sitting down to take photos. Half the time I would sit on the log, realize that probably wasn't the most comfortable position to be sitting in for an hour. So I'd sit on the chair for a little bit, but the chairs weren't comfortable. So it is definitely a getting up and down all day long, which is, it's fine. Like I said, we only had to be there 4 hours each day, which wasn't bad. And it's not necessarily the physical aspect of it that gets to me. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very mentally draining.
Right. Always on, always talking. Your mouth does not stop moving.
Yeah. So you're constantly like just talking and, trying to pay attention to what's going on, and your brain is just, my brain never shuts off anyway.
Right.
But it does get to a point where it's overwhelming, but in a good way.
Yeah, it's unique. Like, not everybody else gets to have the experience, that you're having.
Right, exactly.
Good. It sounds like everything there was pretty positive. I didn't talk to you for the better part of a week. But the things that I did see in social media and stuff like that, everything looked like it was good. I do know you had this most disgusting looking basket of like fries that looked like they'd gone bad. What was that?
Poutine.
Oh, the infamous poutine. I've never had poutine.
It was actually really good. It's probably really not good for you. Everybody said we had to try it from Smokies, but we weren't leaving the hotel a lot once we got back to the hotel. So I was doing a lot of like Uber Eats and stuff like that, and just having people bring us stuff.
Right.
So there was a fast food restaurant up there called Harvey's.
Yes.
And they do like burgers and stuff.
Yeah.
So we ended up ordering it from them and just having it delivered. And it was French fries and cheese curds, all melty, and gravy. That's all it is.
And gravy?
Yeah.
Wow. What was that like?
It actually was really good. it reminds me of one of those foods you would eat in the wintertime to fatten up for winter.
Really? You felt yourself expanding as you were eating each fry?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know it's not good for you. You're like, this is a lot of not good for me stuff, but I'm eating it.
It visually had a bad color palette, but I know everybody talks about poutine. I know we have like poutine out here to some degree, but I don't want it. If it's not from out here, if it's not indigenous to us, I don't want it.
And it's not really from where we were. It's like a food that's more, it originated in Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, like it's a Canadian thing, but it's really a Quebec thing. So a couple people even said in the vlog, they're like, you should have had Smokies. It's the best. And I'm like, well, where's this going to have to go back? The other weird thing we did try was ketchup chips, which we have ketchup chips in the States. Oh my gosh. Canadian ketchup chips are phenomenal. Ketchup chips in the United States are disgusting.
Okay.
The ones up there literally taste like you're dipping McDonald's French fries in ketchup.
But you're not a ketchup fan. You've made that very clear that you're not a ketchup fan.
Yeah, I'm not, but those were amazing.
I had ketchup chips one time at a Kaiser when I was a kid. There was ketchup chips in there. I'm like, I must have it. I love ketchup. The only thing that I would put on my ketchup is more ketchup. And they were the worst tasting things ever. I threw the bag away. Like, I felt like I was turning my back on the condiment that I loved the most.
Right. See, I should have sent you a bag from Canada.
Some ketchup chips. I don't know. I'm pretty scarred from that experience.
They are. I'm telling you, so different. It's so crazy. And Kit Kats are different up there.
Really?
Yeah, way better than here. But there was something else we tried up there.
See,
the malt, salt, and vinegar chips up there were amazing.
I feel like Canada is like the perfect America. They like took America and then they made it better, and then it's Canada.
Yeah, right. There were a lot of things we wanted to try, and a lot of things that we didn't get a chance to try.
There's not enough time. You were only there for a few days.
Yeah, we definitely didn't have enough time to do everything. And it was so funny. Like I said, the first day we got there, we're like, we're having pizza for dinner. That's really American. And then the last day we were there, I found a Five Guys burgers and fries. And I'm like, I want Five Guys burgers.
Did you try it?
I'm like, so we had Five Guys.
Yeah, we have a Five Guys out here. It's really expensive, but it's okay.
Oh, see, it's my favorite. It's if I'm gonna, and I don't like hamburgers. Like, it's not something I will eat all the time.
Right.
I could do without. But something about Five Guys burgers, like whenever I see one, I'm always like, I could eat a burger. I could do that.
So I saved this question from last, and this is what we talked about in the last podcast. Did you go to Tim Hortons?
Almost every day.
Really? What's it like compared to the Tim Hortons just south of you?
It's so much better. I don't know how it's better, but it is. It's better. The Timbits are better. Jamie even said the coffee was better.
Right.
The biggest difference is Tim Hortons in Canada does it right. I mean, of course, because it's from Canada.
Yeah.
But they serve breakfast all day long. They don't do that here in the States.
That's the key
Which is,
to
I always thought
everything.
was so stupid. I'm like, it's Tim Hortons. You should have breakfast all day long. They don't do that in the States.
Yes.
But in Canada, all day long.
Yeah. You have to. I'm of the belief is if you offer an item, it should be available from opening to close.
Yeah, I feel the same way. So we had they had these maple French toast sandwiches, which was just French toast with sausage and egg and cheese, but cheese is, I got mine with just sausage and egg. They were so good. We had them for lunch one day because you could get breakfast all day long.
Right.
Yeah, we were only like 8 minutes from the convention center from where our hotel was, and there was 2 Tim Hortons between our hotel and the convention center.
Oh, dang. Are they abundant like Starbucks?
They are everywhere up there. Everywhere.
Dang. That is good. I didn't expect there to be any difference at all. And now I'm like pleasantly surprised. So you took Tim Hortons all the way from Michigan to here in California where I ate those Timbits and I fell in love. So you're telling me now that I've really never experienced Tim Hortons, right?
It was better. It was better in Canada.
Dang. So it sounds like your Canada trip was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it was great. The expo was great, and then Monday we went and did Niagara Falls and Balls Falls, and I don't remember what other falls we went to, but we did like 7 water hogs, and it was beautiful. It was like 60 degrees and sunny, and It was great. It was a pretty good trip.
Was Niagara Falls as impressive as it looks on television?
Yeah, it's totally worth going to. Even if you only do it once in your life, it's totally worth going to. I regret that we didn't go across to the New York side
Right.
and experience it from over there, but if we ever do go back to New York, I think we will drive up there to see it from that side.
It's okay. You got to see the good side. All we ever see is the New York side. Nobody ever sees the Canada side pointing down.
The Canada side is, in my opinion, I haven't been to the New York side, but the Canada side is the side to go because you can see everything. You can see everything clearly. You're across from it. You can actually see everything. You can see the Horseshoe Falls. You can see the American Falls in full. Where from the New York side, you're up so close. But that's the thing. You're up so close on the New York side. Like, that's kind of the exciting part about being over there is you're actually right next to it.
Was it loud?
It was very loud. It was very loud. There was a lot of people, but we made it work.
Yeah. What did the dogs say?
They really enjoyed it. They seemed to do pretty well. I mean, there was a lot of people. We set Memphis up on a couple pillars. Like, I got a couple of photos that make it look like Memphis is sitting as if she's going to fall into the waterfall. But if anybody sees those, just know that there was land on the other side, and she was attached to my belt, and Jamie was literally 1 second away from her in case she tried to jump, which she didn't. I had food. So.
That was a beautiful picture. That's your concern?
Yeah.
It looks beautiful there. What's it like? 'Cause I'm trying to paint the picture. What's it like when you're sitting her on the rock and you're trying to take the photos? Are people stopping to watch because they know that, like, oh, this is something going on, or this is an entity, or something like that?
We had a lot of people that stopped and wanted to take photos of the dogs while we were at Niagara.
How do you handle that?
We let them take photos, and I just gave them a business card and said, hey, if you post these on Instagram, just tag us. Here's our Instagram. So
no better media than free media.
Yeah, I mean, we had a guy that we were sitting up on a hill, and I was trying to get the thumbnail because I'm going to do a full Dogs Go to Niagara Falls video. I wasn't intending on doing that. I wasn't intending on doing a full Gone to the Snow Dogs video of Niagara Falls, but once we got there and I brought my GoPro with me and all this stuff, I'm like, you know what? We're going to do a fun adventure. Because I used to love doing those kinds of videos, but they didn't always go over well on the channel. But now I just don't care. I want this video for me. So we started doing a video, and I was trying to get a picture of them for the thumbnail, and this guy walked up and he's like, can I get some video of your dogs? And I'm like, sure. So they were sitting all pretty, and he was taking video of them, and I did the same thing. I gave him my card, and I'm like, if you post that anywhere, tag me, and let me know.
The internet's a small world. You're one tag away from the loop.
Yep.
So that'll do it for this week's episode of the CC Mouse podcast. We did have a voicemail question, but since we ran so long, we'll get to it next week. Good thing those don't expire. And if you guys would like to leave a voice message, go to speakpipe.com/CC Mouse podcast, or you can give your opinions, thoughts, questions, or ideas about the show. You can follow us on our Facebook page. You can also follow us on Instagram at CC Mouse podcast. Until next week, we'll see you guys later. Same mouse time, same mouse podcast. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, we did a thing.
Woot woot.
Poon team.